Okay.
Hey, horror fans! Once again, this is me, the horror mastermind G. Welcome all. Finally, I was able to get my good friend Steven from Craven Something Scary to come join me as we will talk about Scream 5, Scream 2022, or just plain Scream, whatever you want to call it. People
There you
just
go.
know it is Scream. So, welcome to the channel, Steven. Finally got together.
Thank you, Monty G. Absolutely. It's my pleasure. It's always great to talk to you, man. And I'm so glad we were able to get our schedules lined up and to make this live stream happen. So I'm very excited, man. I'm very excited to talk to Scream with you tonight.
Yeah, I'm very excited too. Now, obviously, for people who don't know, obviously, this is we're going to be talking about Scream 5, Scream 2022, or Scream. It will include spoilers, so if you have not seen the movie, please stop watching the live stream, go watch the movie, and then you can watch the replay. Watch the replay
Exactly.
because
Yes.
there's going to be certain aspect of the film that we will spoil, and I'm
Yep.
pretty sure Stephen will be getting ready to talk about one of the things that does happen in the film.
Oh yeah. We will not be holding back. So we're gonna bring it tonight.
And we got my good friend Mikey. He's in the chat. Welcome, Mikey, to the show. And we got new guy Dalton Delalter.
Hey, Dalton. Hello.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah, smiling. So obviously, Chris. Well, I'll say this to start off everything is even though I really enjoyed the Scream movies. I went to the movies, saw the original Scream that came out in 1996. I was very impressed by the film. I liked the aspect that they were making fun of slasher films, taking advantage of
Hmm.
slasher tropes, and
Yep.
making fun of it as well. And I really thought it was very interesting. It was written by Kevin Williamson, and of course directed by the late great Wes Craven. It
Yes.
generated a lot more buzz. A lot of people say it reinvented the horror genre
Hmm.
or the slasher genre. So my first question to you, Stephen, when you first saw Scream, did you think that it actually reinvigorated the slasher film or the slasher genre, or even horror
I
films in general?
Yeah, great question. I did. I actually am a Legacy fan as yourself, and I remember watching Scream '96 in the theater in January, early, like the first week of January in '97. And so I was able to experience that first time in the theater. And I'm a big, was a big fan, a big Wes Craven fan, obviously. My channel's named after him, so we know that. But leading up to it, man, the slasher genre, which is my favorite subgenre of horror, by the way,
Hmm.
uh, it was it was just kind of, I hate to say dead, but dude, it was on life support if it wasn't dead. Okay, it was like we were seeing nothing but direct to video, direct to VHS, and back when we had VHS, and I remember those well. Um, but
Don't
yeah,
forget,
and
don't
so
forget Beta.
oh yeah, absolutely beta for sure. So yeah, I was a big Halloween fan, and other slashers, and through the '80s all the way up. So anyway, when we got to Scream, I remember being there in that theater, and I was just knowing Wes Craven was doing it got my attention. That's what got me into the cinema,
Hmm.
and that Wes Craven is doing it, and that it was a who done it. The trailer that came out, I was like, oh, this is a masked killer. This is my jam. And and Monty, I will tell you, man, when I watched that in the theater, I was so blown away by all of the things that it had. It had all this self awareness, which was so new. And I'm watching a horror movie that is literally talking about horror movies that I watched, Nightmare on Elm Street and, Halloween and all the other references. There's tons of them. And I'm like, this is so different and so unoriginal. And then real quick, I know I'm giving a long answer, but I'm kind of leading to a
That's
point.
okay.
And so I was like, but and so I'm like, all this self awareness is just so amazing. And then, of course, the actual tone of the movie was fantastic. Wes's direction, his pacing of the film, all of that stuff. Always a masterful filmmaker. But when we got to, and of course, I loved it because it was so obviously Billy, right from the very beginning. I know we're
Hmm.
not talking about Scream 1, but I have to say, it was like this, oh, Billy's the killer. They're telling us, they're airmailing it to us. And then we get to the scene where we see the fake out. You know,
Hmm.
we see the fake out, and then my mind goes boom. It just blows up because that blows everything out that I had. So I'm like, okay, now who is it? And then I was scrambling, and then finally, last thing, Monty, on Scream '96 for me is then we get the reveal of Stu. being a second killer. And
Mm-hmm.
then my mind goes, boom, what was left of it? It blew
Mm-hmm.
the rest of it off. So when I left out of that theater, I said, this is an amazing movie. I'm telling every person I know, I work with, my family, you all got to go see this. And did I know it would revolutionize the genre like it did? Maybe not to this extent, but I did feel this was a very special movie, Monty, and that I had witnessed something so original. So, and 25 years later, that movie holds up, bro. I mean, it
Yeah.
holds up today just as good. So,
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I think it sort of brought back slasher films, not just horror films in general, but slasher films, because at that particular time, Freddy was dying, Michael was dying, Jason
yes,
was dying. We really wasn't, their series seemed to be coming to an end. We really didn't have any slasher films. Nothing a true horror icon is concerned. Yes, we still had great horror films like the Silence of the Lambs. We had
hmm
Candyman. We had some still great horror films. We had
yeah,
Seven, I think, came out that particular time,
it
but
did.
nothing like a true horror icon like Freddy, Jason, and Michael. And that's what I think what makes Scream so successful was because wow, we finally got something totally different than the big
Yes,
three.
absolutely. And
Hmm.
and Ghostface, here we are. 25 is there. It's such an iconic character. And what's so cool about Ghostface is that it's so unique. It's so different. Hey, Reagan, I'm glad to see you here, man. What's so really cool about Ghostface is that it's unlike Michael, who it's always Michael under the mask. Like we know every Halloween movie, it's Michael Myers. We know,
Hmm.
however many movies we have for Nightmare, it's Freddy Krueger. And Jason is Jason. There's nobody, but for Ghostface, Monty, we don't know. We
Hmm.
don't know who's the mask under that mask, and it's different every movie. So we
Hmm.
have this iconic costume, but it's the mystery of who's behind it, which is just I just love it, and I'm so happy that Radio Silence continued the same feel, even though the tone is different of this movie. They
Hmm.
still maintain that historical aspect of or component rather of what makes a scream film, which is a murder mystery. It's a who done it,
Hmm.
and I love that. And I mean if you remove that, it's not a scream movie anymore, right?
Hmm.
It's not. So yeah, I think Ghostface is iconic.
Yeah,
It's great.
he is a horror icon. He might not be as big as the big three or
Right.
even Leatherface, but he does hold his own when it comes to horror icon legends.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of the things I liked about it, Scream, because it does leave you guessing. And when I first really saw Scream, I probably had the same reaction you did when, at first, when we thought it was Billy, but then he gets killed, but then we find out it wasn't. It actually was him, and then all of a sudden we find out there's two killers. I'm like, wow, this is
Yes.
pretty good. I really like this. That's originality. That's what I
Yes.
love about horror films. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. But let's go.
100%.
Let's go on ahead. Let's talk about Scream 2022. Now, obviously, we don't have Wes Craven. We have the Radio Silence
Yeah.
guys. They're doing this one. Kevin Williamson, he's brought in as an exec producer, but I did love what the guys did. Radio Silence did. Obviously, they really paid attention to what Wes Craven did and how pacing the good is, and obviously they definitely took some advice from Kevin Williamson because the
Yep.
writing is similar to what we saw in the Scream films. Now,
hmm
obviously, we have the cold opening that we always have in Scream, and I actually thought they did a pretty good job adding modern technology
hmm
into the Scream, into that whatchamacallit, which is something we haven't seen before. And what you thought about the opening scene when Tara gets attacked?
Oh yeah, I love the opening scene. I think it was very strong,
Hmm.
and I think they did a good job of capturing a similar tone to the first film's opening kill. And now, of course, there's no opening kill as 96. That's there's no
Oh
way.
yeah, you're
No,
not going to
nothing.
talk that.
We can't compare that, right? Yeah, we can't compare that. So, but I will say this: I did like the technology aspect, and it's a screen film for today, and that's one thing that Wes did too. Though, I mean, every time we saw a screen film with Wes, they were always. I think Scream 4 was so ahead of its time.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
golly, dude, I'm telling you that if that movie had come out today, it would hit. I mean,
Hmm.
everything that they're doing in there. So, but I love that aspect about Scream films is that they're always updated, with the current technology, current things that are happening in our culture. And so I love the whole, system unarmed, armed, unarmed, armed. I mean, how terrifying! Because you think about this from a psychological component.
Mhm.
We have alarm systems in our homes so we can be secured, right? We can feel secured, right?
Mhm.
And then when you have someone who's violating that on top of being of stabbing you, it's like I can't even be safe with my technology now. It's turning on me, and so it's such a good twist. I loved it, man. I thought it was a great opening, and it was interesting not to have a kill. The first movie
Yeah.
without a kill in the opening. It's just a
Yeah,
tap.
and I actually like that because it's just wild. Because at first I actually thought that she was dead, but then I found when,
Mm-hmm.
when we see obviously her sister Samantha, Sam, and her
Yep.
boyfriend, we find out that she's not dead.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, this is interesting. I like this. The fact that the first time in the Scream series that the opening act they didn't die because
No,
that's
that's
always the
right.
case. I mean,
Always.
even poor Cotton Weary got killed in Scream 3.
Oh, Cotton. That's
Uh,
another miss. I wish Cotton had lived longer, but dang it.
yeah,
But you're right. I mean, yeah.
we'll talk about that, Mickey.
Oh, oh gosh.
Yeah,
Uh,
out of all the YouTubers that I saw did Scream, I think I only saw one YouTuber that did not like the Scream at all.
yeah.
Uh,
Wow. I mean, I'm not surprised. I thought it was. It's a. I mean, I'm a little surprised that one person like didn't like it at all. I'm like, man,
yeah,
that's wow. That's
yeah, they
man.
they literally just trashed the film. I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay, well that's your opinion.
Well, sure. I mean, go
Hey,
ahead. I mean, we're all there's room at the table for everybody. So
hmm
everyone and we all have our own views and things, and that's all right. We can respect that, and
hmm
if I disagree, then that's all right.
That's all right. Yeah, because they and I like what they said, what they didn't like about the film, what they didn't like about the film. They gave legitimate reasons why they didn't like it, and I'm
Yeah.
not surprised because this Scream is not going to be for everyone. I think
Right.
most Scream fans will enjoy this film, but
Hmm.
there's going to be some people that will not like it, and there are some aspects of the film now I will want to talk to you about. Some of the things I didn't like about the film.
Sure. Sure.
Uh-huh. Obviously, we have a new lead character, a new protagonist. Her name is Samantha Sam. She is Tara's sister. So, what do you think about Samantha?
So Sam as a character, it was a slow burn. It was a slow start for me.
Mm,
Uh, she warmed up to me as a character as the movie went on, and I think looking back on it, it wasn't because of Melissa Barrera. It was the writing for the character.
hmm
It was how the character was written. Because if she was all together and like just confident and all together, it would not add up to this person who is clearly taking some has some mental health issues that she's working through. She's and which we find out in the movie what it is, which is pretty severe.
that's
you
that's
know,
gonna be our next topic.
yeah, yeah. All right, I won't go there yet, but
Mhm,
yeah, I mean, we see that this person's struggling very hard with this. She's taking her medication. They make a point to show her with her pill bottle multiple times in the movie
mhm,
to remind us. And so when I started looking back on it, Monty, I was like, okay. By the end of the movie, I was a fan of Sam,
mhm,
and because I believe as the movie went, she came out of her shell and she became more confident as the movie went as a character.
mhm.
And then I'm not jumping too far ahead, but I'm going to say it like this. When she revealed herself at maximum voltage in that
Mhm.
finale,
Oh yeah,
woo, man, all I can tell you is that was it. That was it right there for me. That sealed it for me. I'm like, okay, all right, I'm a fan. And so hopefully in 6, Monty, we'll see. My thoughts are we'll see more of that from her in terms of being more confident, being more in control.
hmm
So those are my thoughts on Sam. Overall, I did like her though.
yeah. I thought she was a very interesting character.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did come off a bit slow, but obviously
Yes.
once we find out her background, know what her secret is, that actually got me more intrigued. And
Mm-hmm.
as the film progresses, I started pulling for more, but it was that reveal. That's like, whoa, they went there.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I was not expecting that because even on some of the videos I saw and most of all the internet uh, uh, rumbles out there was Stu's alive.
Listen.
He
Absolutely.
everybody wanted Stu,
I'm
but it
one of
wasn't.
them.
I know, but it wasn't Stu. It was Billy.
It
She,
was.
yeah,
It was.
yeah. whatchamacallit comes back, and we find out that that's her father. she
I
is the
know.
daughter of a serial killer, and that I truly thought they went. I said that's decent. I like that because I was not expecting. I was see what's like this. I kept waiting for them to talk about Sue and Stu to come up, and next thing you know, next we see Billy and the whatchamacallit. Now, of course, we don't know why she's killing Billy at first, but then we learn later on that no, that's her father, and
Absolutely.
the reason why she left Tara. That's the reason why they have their little disagreements. And I actually thought that was decent. But what was your reaction when you found out that she was Billy's daughter?
You know, I actually I predicted before the movie that I felt Sam was going to be, because they revealed to us in the trailer,
Hmm.
and even before that, that she has a secret, right?
Hmm.
And I said, okay, it's gonna have to be, because they kept everything harpens back to the
The
beginning,
beginning.
right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna kind of connect the dots here. So I thought that she was going to either be Billy's sister, a sibling of his,
Hmm.
like that came maybe right around the same time or whatever, or it was going to be, or she was going to be his daughter. So
Hmm.
when the reveal came for the daughter, it was not a shock, but it was cool. I still like, okay, cool. I like daughter better than sister,
Hmm.
because when you're a daughter, you're directly from his genes, and I loved how they capitalized on that in the
Hmm.
movie. And the first time I saw Skeet in
Hmm.
the rearview mirror, I think it was when he first shows up, I was like, "Oh yes, this is great." Now I will say, Monty, while you mentioned Stu, and man, I have been engineering the Stu train for
Oh
quite
yeah.
some time, and you know that, you know it, and I still am not giving up on that Stu train. And I won't turn this into a Stu talk, but I'm just telling you right now, I'm not ready to give up on it. And I've already seen like Reagan and some others here in the chat
Hmm.
already throwing all their love on in Weekend. I see you there, throwing your love on Stu. And I tell you, I don't care what is said in interviews or anything else. I am not giving up on that fact. So, oh gosh, and that's something else. I just saw your, I just saw
Yeah,
your
no,
chat.
I had to put that up there.
Yeah.
It's like Ghostface in a chrome mask using
Oh
a
man.
YouTube clip. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
love that
you.
they used Matthew Lillard in that line in Amber's house,
Uh huh.
where at the party, and it's and you see a couple walk by and they're like, "Cool house, Freeman," and that's Matthew Lillard, and like, oh,
Uh
that's so cool. And he's talking about his own house, Stu's house. Um, anyway, but I hope he'll be back. But I think it was really cool with what they did with Skeet and
huh.
Billy, and the whole daughter of being his, and we saw at the end of this movie that she has his genes. His DNA is in this chick, man. She woo, it was almost like when you see someone come out of their shell,
Uh
it's like she bloomed, like a flower that bloomed when she grabbed that buck 120
huh.
knife and just went to town, man.
Like
And
I say, God damn, man, she's
I know,
she's going to town.
seriously. Yeah, because I'm like, I figured, oh, she'll just stab him, No, it's like she
Well,
and she
it
was getting the
yeah, it
blowback.
does make sense, and not for us to jump ahead or anything, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it does make sense, is
yeah.
because when one of the killers is revealed, and the fact that it was total surprise for her, so obviously anger comes up, and
You
truly
bet.
that was truly anger. So even
Yes.
though I was like, wow, but it makes sense. So writing wise, I'm not shocked or surprised by that because
Hmm.
that's something that obviously she was pissed off because she obviously had strong feelings for this person, and the fact that it wasn't true, and the fact that this person killed all her friends. So I can understand why she was that angry.
You bet.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with the trap. Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, and I loved how when she got done,
Hmm.
she grabs the knife and she does the whoosh with her
Yep.
hand across
Yeah.
the. I'm
No.
like, oh.
Yeah. I
I'm
thought that
telling
was
you, man.
I thought that was a nice touch.
Yes. I'm just saying there. The minute I saw the knife with the hand wiping the blood off, which is iconic Ghostface move, I said, I wonder, is radio silence just giving us a little bit of a clue where this could be going in the future or not. I don't know.
Mm,
And we could
I
talk
don't know.
about that later, but it could
Yeah,
be. I don't know.
it could be, could be. Now, obviously, we get introduced to this new group of characters. We have West. I can't remember half their names. We have West. We have the twin brother and sister.
Chad and
Uh,
Mindy.
January, we have Amber.
Hmm.
Amber right there. So, what are your thoughts about these new characters?
I mean, I think I was fine with all of them, really. The only one that, and I have to say, this is probably a good point time to say it, that this movie, the original cut of this film was 2 hours and 27 minutes,
Hmm.
and they had to cut it back to an hour and 54 minutes. So they cut a half hour off of this film, which if you're going to cut that much time, you have to find out where you're going to cut it from. You got to say, well, we're going to cut from that scene and cut from this scene. And so I think as a result of that, that we didn't get to know some of these characters a whole lot. But one thing I think was smart though on Radio Silence's part is that they made sure that we got to know the survivors, even though we didn't know at the time they were going
Hmm.
to be survivors. But the ones that are going on to six, that we actually did get more time with Mindy and with Chad and with Sam and Tara.
Hmm.
And as far as like Wes and Liv and Amber and Vince, oh my gosh, Vince was in the movie for 5 minutes or whatever he was, and um, I understand Monty why he did not get a poster, because he knew they never put this guy on posters. I'm like, this poor guy,
Yeah, I know,
and
because it's like I saw him in the trailer, but I don't see him in the poster, so I was like, oh no, he's dead.
yeah, he's a Garner, and so they cut that scene short too, because remember in the trailer we saw the robe on the wall
Hmm.
outside, that silhouette, and how cool that looked. That was cut out of the movie. So that was one of the scenes that was cut. So I think that attack scene went longer than what we saw. But getting back to your question, as far as the characters go, I was happy with Chad and Mindy. I liked them. I liked Sam and Tara. Tara might just be the star of the show. And Richie, Jack Quaid was phenomenal. He
Hmm.
was my instant favorite. I mean, he's so good. Like the minute this movie started and Jack Quaid starts doing his role as Richie, man, I was like, oh, this guy's good. And I was like, please let him live. Please let him go on to six. And of course, we know what happens. But
Hmm.
I will say this: Liv, I liked, but there was just so little of Liv. You didn't get to really spend
Yeah,
much
no,
time
we
with
didn't get to
her.
spend that much time, and because that was
No.
one of the problems I had with the new characters. Yeah,
Yes.
and I don't really don't blame the actors because I thought all the
No.
actors did fine job. Because I said that in my review, it's just that we don't get enough time with them, and none of them
Right.
really stand out. Like say like Stu did, or even like
Oh
some of
yeah.
the other characters, some of the other
Tatum
movies.
even.
Yeah, even like Tatum did, and especially like Kirby did, or
Yep.
Roy Culkin did, and in Scream 4,
Yeah.
none of them really stand out. They were there. That's nice.
Hmm.
Obviously Mindy is the female Randy of the show, of the group, but they really don't stand out. The
Right.
only thing West stands out because that was what you call him son. Mm,
Judy's son.
yeah, Judy's
Yeah,
son.
that's true.
Yeah,
And he was named after Wes Craven, which
yeah, yeah. I know.
everybody
Yeah.
knew that going in. So he's like all eyes on Wes. And I will say this too, as far as Amber goes, and I guess
Mm,
I mean I'm not gonna. I know we're not talking about the reveal or the finale yet, but
hmm.
I'll just say this while we're talking about characters. I think that I could not stand. I just didn't like Amber. Excuse me. I didn't like Amber prior to the reveal.
Hmm.
All right, prior to the reveal, it was she had no personality. And again, it's how she's written. This is not Mikey Madison. This is the character, like you're talking about.
Hmm.
The character was written with no charisma, no personality, nothing endearing about her. Where you actually are kind of invested in her a little bit. She was always angry, always frowning and scowling, and always just negative. And why are you doing this to Tara? No, Tara needs her sleep. Why aren't you here at the house? It was just like constantly like nah, 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 nah. And I'm like, this she is not likable. She's just not likable. Now, after the reveal, I liked her because so that's what I'm saying. It's a tale of two Ambers, okay? So before the reveal, no way, did not like her. After the reveal, absolutely loved her because I could see her relishing in the madness, and
Hmm.
she was like passionate about this madness. And so yeah, then I was into her, but beforehand, no. I was
No,
like, come on,
and
man.
I think they did that on purpose because
I do too.
sometimes like normally when you see the asshole characters, like in the remake Friday the
Hmm.
13th, we know the guy is a total asshole. So
Yeah. Yep.
when Jason kills him, we're all happy because the guy was a total asshole. But in a film like Scream, we when we see a person that's unlikable, then we hope that they die. But it turns out that they're not dead; they're actually the killer. So that okay, now that kind of makes sense. you know.
Yes,
So
it
it
does.
to me, it's like it's not that I was more into Amber being the killer as opposed to the other person that gets revealed as the killer, which we'll talk about later.
Okay.
Obviously, let's bring up Jack. What
Yeah.
about Jack?
Oh man, I think Jack was brilliant. I think he
Hmm.
did an amazing job. And I think he played like Derek, but was in reality Billy. And but it was so interesting because going into this movie, I'm like, okay, they're trying to kind of recapture or not recapture, but to kind of emulate Scream One. And
Hmm.
so we see Jack or Richie, the character's name Richie.
Yeah,
We see
Richie.
Richie with the blue plaid shirt like
Hmm.
Billy wore, and I'm like, okay. So the question to me was, is he going to be Billy or is he going to be Derek from Scream 2, which was a genuinely cared about Sydney? And I was rooting and pulling with all my heart for him to be Derek, and he did a great job in that movie showing that he cared for Sam. He gave the appearance of all of these amazing. I mean, I think he's very charismatic. I think he's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of chops, and so I personally, when I walked out of the movie, my first thought was he stole the show for the
Hmm.
new cast. That's what I felt when I've worked out the first time. As I've had a chance for the movie to marinate a little bit more, I don't know that he stole the show of the new cast because I think Tara might hold that for me. But he did an amazing job. I thought Jack was great, and I think how he played the character was well done. I have no
Yeah,
complaints about him.
yeah. I don't have no problem with his acting. Fortunately, I thought when the reveal comes, I
Hmm.
said, "Oh man, they're doing Scream One again."
Yeah,
So
they are.
I
Yep.
said, I could understand some of the elements what they did in this film, but making doing that again, that's kind of a cop out for me when it comes to
Yeah,
writing choices. Like you could at
I
least
know.
try to do something different, but
Yes.
what are you going to do? So I had no
Yeah.
problem with any of the cast. I thought they all did a fine job.
Yeah.
I actually like Maria did a better job as far as in what Jenna Ortega did with Tara, but they're both good.
Yeah.
Like I said in my review, they both stand out the most as characters in
Yeah.
this film. What the new characters are.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. So I thought, I thought about, they did a fine job. Like I said, it's nice to see Mindy and Chad. They're still alive, so I was glad about that.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
pretty sure that they'll come back when Scream 6 comes out. I haven't heard anything, but I'm pretty sure you're tuned. Where did Radio Silence say anything about them doing the Scream 6?
Nothing yet. Nope.
Mm,
The only ones that we've heard of on record that I'm aware of is Nev Campbell, who said that she would be up to doing it again if the script. It depends if this depends on the script. Is
mm,
the latest. So that if the script is good, then she'll come back. And
mm,
Radio Silence has said they want to come back as well to direct.
mm.
So those are the only ones that I've seen. I think that have actually said publicly that they want to come back. But I have to believe that Mindy and Chad, the actor Mason Gooding and Savoy Brown, Jasmine Savoy Brown, right?
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, Jasmine Savoy Brown.
just rent, yeah. I think they will be jumping at the opportunity to come back, and I think
Yeah.
it's already in the works. I think an outline was written already. They already have Scream 6 pretty much ready to go. I bet you the script's even written or almost done,
Hmm.
and so I have a feeling that they already talked to those four survivors and said, "Hey, we
Hmm.
want you back. We've already got your parts written. Let's once we get greenlit, we'll negotiate and all that." But
Yeah.
I think
Speak,
they'll be back.
Yeah, speaking of her, not to go off topic, but she's actually in another show that I've watched. I just did my review on called Yellow Jackets, and she does a pretty good job in that one as well too. So
Nice.
she's a pretty good actress. I like her in this one, even though they don't give her enough screen time. But she does a real fine job
Hmm.
in Yellow Jackets, kind of a female's version of the Lord of the Flies and Alive.
Oh, man. Oh, what a combo.
It's a decent combo.
Ooh.
Yeah, I should have my review up by for season one of that show tomorrow because I did the recording tonight, but I knew I was going to be doing this, so I said I'll finish that up tomorrow. Um,
Nice.
Uh,
I'm behind the eight ball. Just real quick, Monty. That is a show that's been on my radar, but I'm behind on a lot of shows that I want to
hmm
watch. They're in my DVR. I hadn't even
hmm
got to Chucky. I got the whole season of
You
Chucky.
watch Chucky?
No, man, I got all 10 episodes on my DVR. I hadn't got to them. They're sitting there, and
Oh
so
man, you're gonna. I'll say this as a Chucky fan, you're gonna love it.
I've heard a lot of good things, and I was really encouraged when I saw that. And his name has escaped my mind, so you have to forgive me on his name. But the creator of Chucky.
Don
Um,
Mancini.
yes, thank you. When I saw that he signed on for
Mhm.
this, I said, okay, instant credibility. So that's what got me excited about it. So anyway, and I've heard that Yellow Jackets was really good. I was talking to someone else about that the other day, literally like 2 days ago, and they were telling me how they enjoyed it as well.
Mhm.
And so anyway, that's two people now. You and them have recommended it in the last 2 days, so
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
should
That's a
watch it.
very interesting setup there. But obviously, let's talk about the kills. As I said in my review, the kills are very brutal. They're very bloody. They're not as gory as four was because I thought four was very bloody, as gory because of the one of the kills. Uh, we actually see guts. We really and then Anthony Anderson gets stabbed in the head, which we have
Oh
never seen.
yes,
We have never seen in a Scream movie. But this one, yeah, you have your standard kills, but they were very brutal. This guy
yes,
was very dark when it comes to killing.
yes,
Mhm.
absolutely, man. One of the things that I thought was unique to these kills is like you mentioned the brutality. Uh, this is the first Ghostface that we've seen with the chop, 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 chop. The that the aggressive, bum, 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 just the multiple
Yeah,
stabbings and that was something I thought that was a neat touch because usually it's not that way,
yeah.
and it's just that aggressiveness, that savage. It's like a savage nature, and we know from Radio Silence that has said that Amber did most of the killing in the
hmm
movie. Richie didn't do much of it, but and then we see that chop, chop. We see that I call it chop, chop, chop. I don't know how to say it. That aggressive stabbing,
hmm
that brutal stabbing, quite often. And then we see a couple that are not that way. We see Vince being killed just by a slash to the neck, which is more
hmm
like the traditional thing. And then Wes was killed not in that manner either, with the knife through the neck, which was brutal.
Uh,
And Radio Silence, I was reading an interview with them earlier today, actually, and they had talked about how that was the one scene where Amber and Richie are both unaccounted for,
hmm
and that it was both of them on scene killing Judy and Wes.
hmm
So it was Amber outside with the
hmm
whole, she's doing the whole thing, and
hmm
it was Richie inside the house that killed Wes.
hmm
And it was like the only time that it was both of them together, except it could possibly have been the opening kill as well.
hmm
So I'm not convinced that they weren't both there. Just like Stu and Billy were both there in Casey Becker's house.
hmm
So anyway, yeah. So it was interesting, man. I really I thought the kills were very good. I enjoyed them. Again, the brutality, the savagery, and I have to say, man, I touched on it a little bit earlier, but I really believe that Sam's killing of Richie
hmm
was equally as it was just as savage and brutal as any of the Ghostface kills. I mean, it was right there on par with Amber and Richie's kills. So anyway, I thought the kills were good, man. I didn't have a problem with them, and I have to say this. I know we haven't gotten there yet, so I won't talk too much about it. But I'll just say that after what happens to Dewey, okay,
hmm
whenever I know we'll get there,
hmm
I was so angry and furious in the theater when that happened. And I said to myself and the people that were with me, I looked over and I said, whoever is behind that mask, I hope they get savagely destroyed. And I was so angry. And I have to say, when it comes time that we find out it's Amber that did it, and we know because Richie was was there with them, and whenever we got to see that final scene with, well, not the final scene, but that in the final where we see that Gail shoots her and she catches on fire, I was like, "Burn, you wicked witch! Burn!" That was I was so into that moment watching her flail. I was
Oh
like,
man.
"Yes!" It was like anyway. I just had to throw that out there. While we're talking about the kills.
Okay. Now, obviously, we see the return of the legacy characters, Sidney, Gale, and Dewey. We get to see Dewey first, because obviously he's still living in Woodsboro because he and Gale broke up. And then, of course, we see a little bit of Sidney when he calls her. What was it like seeing the Legacy 3 back in, even though they really don't have that much screen time?
Yes, I loved it, man. It was so good, and seeing Dewey, I'm telling you, I believe that he was the star of the show. As far as Legacy Cast goes, he was the star of the Scream 5.
Hmm.
I thought his performance, his acting, David's acting was very compelling,
Hmm.
and the way he was written to be so different. This was not the Dewey that we
No,
remember, right,
no,
from the last 25
definitely a
years.
long, definitely far away from his first appearance in Scream 1,
Oh
where
yeah.
it looked like he really didn't have a clue what he was doing until now. So I definitely like the dramatic difference that they gave
Yes.
doing this one. So I think they finally decided, let's give Dewey some respect.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's don't make him so lighthearted and so goofy. Even though
Hmm.
I love those things about him, don't get me wrong. There's a charm to all of that. But just seeing him in this movie and how, you see him here in the trailer, and they must have a bottle of liquor on every surface of that trailer to let us know that he's living in the bottle because it's in the kitchen, it's on the
Hmm.
coffee table, it's on the kitchen table by the window, it's everywhere as a bottle. And so I'm like, this poor guy, I feel bad for him. And you see him wake up and turn on the TV, and there's Gail. So he's watching her, and he's lamenting while he watches her. I'm like, it was just really sad, and I
Hmm.
felt bad for him. And when he got the phone out, and he called Sydney, and then he's gonna pull up Gail, and it's just you
Hmm.
could see him how he hesitates, and he's no, he's I can do this, I can do this. And anyway, I thought he was brilliant. One of the things I will tell you, Monty, I'm actually halfway through editing a video now. It'll probably go out tomorrow. That's actually talking about how the OG3 felt about their actual feelings about him dying,
Hmm.
and what Nev and Courtney and David all felt. And it's interesting that Nev, in a recent article, and again, I'm working on the video now, but she actually, hey, Keon, just say Keon saying, hey, man, good to see you here, buddy. One of the things that Nev said that was really striking is that she revealed that, of course, she was devastated when
Hmm.
she found out he was going to die. But she said something that at the end of that interview where she's like, "Hey, I'm not sure that they made the right choice."
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, now this is because normally you'll say, hey, I'm sad that it happened, but no." She goes on to say, I'm not sure that they made the right choice," which I thought was very transparent. And so she's clearly not. And Courtney echoed the same thing. Courtney even says that she talked to Radio Silence and suggested to them while they were filming the movie that
Hmm.
they should film Dewey's scene twice, just in case. Which we know Wes did. See, she's sharing
Hmm.
that with them, and they didn't do it. And then finally, David was like heartbroken. He's like, my heart sunk, and I know he said, and basically it was kind of sad because what he's saying, paraphrasing now, is I'm the actor. It's their movie. There's nothing I can do about it.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
he loves that character, Monty, and he wants to continue. He wanted to come back and be Dewey again, but anyway. It's just interesting to me how that and my big point is this. I wish Radio Silence and James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick, the writers, I wish they would have given this new generation of Scream fans, because there's a lot of guys and gals that are going to see this movie as their first Scream film.
Hmm.
And just like it was for you and me, Monty, in Scream '96, it was our first Scream film. I wish they would have let Dewey live so that they could give this new fan base the same opportunity you and I had, which was to see Dewey and fall in love with him and become an iconic character to them like he's been to us. And sadly, he's not. It's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what happened on The Walking Dead when Negan killed in the TV show when he killed Glenn and Abraham, and a lot of people got pissed off about it because everyone, not because of Abraham, but everyone loved Glenn. Now,
Hmm.
I said that's because you guys don't read the comic books. Because in the comic books, even though he only kills Glenn in issue 11, because Abraham gets killed by Dwight earlier in the season. I mean, early in the comic books before Negan gets introduced, he kills Glenn in episode issue 100, and everyone was pissed off and they were upset. And how can they do this like that? And it's like, but unfortunately, in a situation that we have in this show right here, the fact that they finally were decided to kill one of the legacy three. And the fact it was Dewey, I was kind of sad. I said, "Well, man, if
Yeah.
they picked the weakest one." But I guess it's kind of I don't know if they wrote down and decided, well, which one are we going to kill, because obviously there's only so much you can. Because I said this before, there's only so much you can do with these three characters that you already haven't done with them to begin with. And I thought Scream 4 would be the final time when we would see the big three, or the legacy three, as I call them, because there's really not much more you can do with these characters, or even with this type of a storyline. So while I was not surprised they did kill one of them off. I said, well, damn,
Hmm.
I'm sorry that they had to kill Dewey, because I mean, obviously
Yeah.
somebody had to die.
Yeah, and this may be controversial, but I'll have to say it, man. I personally, I wish if they had to kill one, it would have been Gale. I wish
Hmm.
that, because what I was thinking was, how cool would it have been if, I mean, they killed Judy, so she's dead now,
Uh-huh.
and then Gale's there, and then what if it's a matter of, because they're like, well, there's got to be something to get Sydney back to Woodsboro. Okay, I agree, you have to get her back to Woodsboro, but Dewey's not the one that it didn't have to be Dewey. He could have said, you know what, the sheriff's dead. All of a sudden, the town, because it's a small town, they
Hmm.
say, Dewey, please come back. We need you to lead us again. And Dewey could have this redemptive arc where the movie starts with him being so in the dumps, literally
Hmm.
in life. And by the end of this movie, he is restored. He's got his job back. And if they kill Gale, that's
Hmm.
enough to get Sydney back. I guarantee you, if he called Sydney and says they killed Gale, Gale's dead,
Hmm.
she'd be like, I'll be there. I'm on my way.
Hmm.
And then, not that I don't like Gale. Don't get me saying I like Gale. I like all of them. But to your point, if one of them has to go, personally, this is my own feeling. It's Gale's the one I would, if I'm writing it, she's the one that goes. Dewey's restored, and by the end of this movie, Dewey is back to being himself, albeit changed from all the events. Not like, you know, the best version of himself again.
Hmm.
You know, the bottle's put up. He's now got purpose again. And Sydney lives and he lives. And then Dewey's there for Scream 6 in Woodsboro if they
Hmm.
choose to stay there. He's the sheriff. He doesn't have to be actively involved. He can just be the sheriff there. I mean, there's all kinds of ways, Monty, we could do it.
Hmm.
You know.
You know, one of the toughest things that I was trying to figure out when watching this movie, I says, what are they going to do? What are they going to make fun of? Because that's the whole basic of the Scream series.
Yeah.
Scream make fun of slasher tropes.
Mm-hmm.
Scream 2 made fun of sequels of slasher tropes. Scream 3 made fun of trilogies.
Yeah.
And then Scream 4 made fun of horror remakes.
That's right. Yep.
Long live Kirby.
That's right.
Let's see. I was hoping Scream would be doing his redemption movie. Yeah.
I know. Me too,
Yeah.
man. I know.
And so I was figuring to myself, what in the hell can they make fun of? Or what they get fun of? And then Mindy has that nice little Randy speech about Rickles.
Yes, that was so good. Love that.
And I thought that was pretty good. I actually thought, I really thought, wow, this was interesting. I like the little soliloquy that she talks about Rickles, and of course them talking about intelligent horror. I think it's just
Oh yeah.
the most impactful of the audience outside of Sid. Also, if you continue not to kill legacy, there are no stakes. It becomes stale. Well, yeah, yeah, because I agree with you right there, Weekend. Because yeah,
Yeah.
it's so still, and then that's one of the problems that people have with The Walking Dead. I said, listen, you're in an apocalypse with zombies, and sometimes the humans are worse than the zombies. You're going to have people die. And
Yeah.
yes, I know a lot of people loved Glenn because he was a favorite character on the show and in comics books. But someone has to die. You
Right.
can't have stakes like this, even in a setting like this. someone has to die, and they figure that one of the legacy three has to die, and unfortunately, it was Dewey.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, but going back to requels, yeah, I actually thought it was decent in how many went on ahead and talked about requels because that seems to be the going trend now for
Hmm.
filmmakers making horror movies because we even now have a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre that's coming out on Netflix. That's again
Yes.
ignoring the sequels and being a direct sequel to the original '75 one.
Yep. Here we
Mm,
go again.
here we go.
And yeah, I did love that too, Monty. I thought the whole, the requel is a great term. I think
Mhm.
that's like okay. So I mean, again, it's so meta because they're talking about Scream Five.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Hmm.
it's like because it's not a sequel, but it's not a reboot. It's a
Yeah.
requel,
It's a
and like that's what we're watching. We're watching a requel right there in the theater, and so that was very smart. That part was really smart writing. I like that.
That's very smart. Yeah, because that's what seems to be going to train wreck out because they don't want to do more sequels. Says,
Yeah.
well, what can we do to make the audience happy? So let's do this. Let's not just make another sequel. Let's just go on ahead, ignore the sequels, and just make a sequel from the original film and call it a requel.
Yeah. There you go.
Uh-huh.
It's a magic formula.
Yeah. So obviously, as you know, as we get progression to the movies and we get the reveals of the killers, we find out it's Amber and was it Mitch? Is his name?
Richie?
Richie.
Richie?
Yeah, we find
Yeah.
it's Rich and Mitchie. I thought it was a bit lackluster. As I said it
Okay.
again, it really wasn't invested in the reveal.
Yeah.
However, I thought their motivations were good. Not as good as Jill's, or
Mm.
not as good as
Yeah.
Stu and Billy.
Right. Right.
Obviously, way better than Roland's motivations.
I don't know, Monty. I like Roman's root. I thought it was cool being the brother, man. I don't know. I don't know. I may differ with you a little bit on that, but I'll
uh,
give you it was you know it has its place. All right? It does have its
yeah,
place.
yeah. But do you actually agree with their motivations? Because obviously they were pissed off because of how bad Stab 8 was, and they were
Hmm.
all the fans were upset, and so for some odd reason they decided to do this little thing to make them do a better Stab movie. So
Yeah. I don't know, man. I you know I'll put it to you this way, man. I didn't have a problem per se. Like okay, fine. But could it have been better? Absolutely. That's how what I kept waiting for on their motive at the end
mm,
was I was sitting in the theater and I'm thinking to myself, okay, I got it. We're doing we want a new Stab movie. You're going to give them source material.
mm,
You're going to have the daughter of the original. I say I'm tracking with all that, and
mm,
then the whole fan toxicity issue of toxic fandom and okay, I hear what you're saying there. But then I was like, okay, now, but what's next? What's the last component? There's got to be a little bit more. I kept waiting for a twist. I kept waiting for there to be a reveal that connected this back, really back to '96, not just wanting to remake '96, right? Which I know is kind of what they were trying to do, but the kill, but I was hoping for that. I'll be honest. I mean, I was hoping for Stu to pop up. I wanted Stu to be the mastermind behind this and make.
mm,
But I knew that was a long shot. But I was like, okay, if it's not Stu, I wanted it to be Judy. Well, and show because she ties back to '96, and of
mm.
course she gets killed early in the movie, and so okay. So this is probably not going to be a mastermind at this point, and there wasn't. And I just wish I would have there would have been a little more depth to the motive than just wanting to remake Stab and fan toxicity. Again, I don't think it was bad. I'm not saying it was bad. I just think
Oh
it was
yeah,
lacking. I think there could have been more.
yeah.
Again, I missed opportunities. What I keep saying.
Yeah, and I agree with you because it's like it's an interesting concept, with what they were referring to, and I was waiting for something else. I was like, wait a minute, is
Yeah,
that it? Is that it? It's
exactly.
good, but
Yes.
where's the huge jolt that
Bingo.
I was looking for? Because
Same.
like you have with the Scream and Scream 2, and
Hmm.
with Scream 4, you
Yep.
have that jolt. You have that
You
jolt.
do.
Because in Scream 2 we get Billy's mother. Billy's mother and Mickey. You
That's
know,
right.
we get that one. In Scream 4, we get Roy's character, and of course we get Jill, and Jill just and Jill's motivations are just what
Oh,
was happening, especially at that time was going on today. People's obsession of being famous by just doing something online. I
that's
thought her
right.
motivations and the stuff that she tried to go to become famous. And here, okay, that's nice. Where you
Yeah.
going with this?
Yeah. Right.
That's it.
That's it. I
That's
know.
it.
That's it. That's exactly what I felt, Monty. You
Mhm.
and I are on the same page. I just kept waiting for it because I wanted it to be this shocking moment where I'm like, it's a drop the mic moment. That's what I was waiting for. Like,
Mhm.
there's going to be some twist they're about to reveal. There's going to be some a cliffhanger maybe. Maybe there's a third killer that we don't know about or some. But that was what I was disappointed in because I'm like, okay, I'm cool with you guys doing this, but okay, now, but what's next? What's that
Mhm.
final little
Yeah, what's that?
twist?
What little thing is going to nail the club and say, that's great. I love this one. This is just as
Yes.
good or even better than Jill's motivation because it's one thing you get when it comes to even horror movies, even thrillers.
Hmm.
The killer when the killer gets revealed, their motivation has to make sense. So that way, it
Yeah.
makes the audience understand the killer's motivations. You just can't have some weak motivation. I think
Exactly.
that's one of the reasons why I don't because I have no problem with Scream 3, and I understand his motivation because he was jealous.
Right.
He felt as though he missed out on something that he thought he should have. But to me, this out of all the killers in Scream, he has the weakest one. He has the weakest motivation. It's a simple motivation, which is just revenge and jealousy, but
Yep. That that's
it's a
right, Reagan. It's about becoming you. Exactly. That's
yeah.
oh man. Jill is by far one of the. I've always said she's the most insane and awesomely psychotic Ghostface since Billy and Stu. She is
Yeah.
at she's at another level. When you go to self mutilation,
Yep.
you go to the next level. That is like that's next level stuff. When you're
Mm,
yanking your hair, scratching, when you're stabbing yourself, dude. I'm
mm.
like, when she ran against the wall with the knife, I said, okay,
No, yeah.
I
I'm like,
that's
oh
it.
man,
I give it.
that's why I said to myself, wow, she's out there.
She's
she's
gone.
she's
Yep.
gone. No, for me, it was when she threw herself on the table.
Oh yes,
she already stabbed herself, and the next thing
yes,
she flings herself on the table. I'm like, man, she's really desperate. That's sad.
exactly. But it was sad, but it was also amazing. I just love that.
No, that's
Girl, I know you do. I know you do, Reagan.
uh, yeah, but it is something about
Yeah,
women killers. They do have a different tendency when it comes to as opposed to male killers.
yeah,
That I
yeah.
think that's one of the reasons why when we look at Arlene Warnos and what she's done when it comes to real
Hmm.
life women killers, it's like
For
it's
sure.
amazing. Hmm.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And I just, and I'll tell you something else I missed about this reveal, Monty,
Hmm.
was that I, ever since 2, 3, and 4, Wes did it in all of the those three movies, is that we did not get a a Ghostface costume reveal.
Hmm.
So, because remember in Scream, and we didn't get it in Scream 1, and that was okay because it was masterful the way they did that. But
Hmm.
starting in Scream 2, Wes had one of each of the killers be in costume with the
Hmm.
reveal. So
Oh
Mickey
yeah.
walks up, takes the mask off, and then
Hmm.
we see Debbie. In Scream 3, we've got there's Roman and Angelina. There's two killers there, but we don't get the reveal for Angelina, but we get the reveal with Roman, and so we get him in costume, takes it off, and then Scream 4, we get Jill who pops
Hmm.
out and stabs Sydney. She
Hmm.
pulls off the mask. So there's a part of me that's like, I was hoping that at least one. I figured there'd be two killers. That's just kind of what I figured it would
Hmm.
be. I was hoping that we would get one of them, at least one of them in costume, and it's
Hmm.
like that last second, like who is it? Who is it? And then they finally take off that mask. But both of these killers were revealed without costume.
With our costume on,
Without costume.
yeah, I was a bit disappointed in that too.
Yeah.
Obviously, we talked about it earlier. Obviously, whatchamacallit's death when Sam just goes stab happy.
Oh yeah, dude.
She sees her father. Her father says, "You know what you got to do." Almost like he was going to do a do your thing, Hussy.
I think so. It's like, okay, yeah, you know what? Just channel me. I'm ready. Let's go kill this guy
Mhm.
and savagery. And also, um, oh, what was I gonna say? Oh, I wanted to ask you. Oh, how do I know Angelina was a killer? Oh, because and I've actually got a whole video about that, real quick on my channel. If after this is over, if you go check it out, it's called "The Secret in Plain Sight." Is the name of the video, and I do a whole breakdown of how we know there was two killers in Scream 3. It was not one. And we know it by the way Wes Craven shot the film. There's a lot of clues he put in the movie to tell us that.
Mhm.
And Angelina, I believe that she was definitely the second killer. And I lay out the whole thing. So great question. And if you get a chance to check out the video, "The Secret in Plain Sight" on my channel, and check it out. Leave me a comment over there and let me know what you think about about how I lay it out.
Yeah,
But
I think I have your link to your channel in the description box below. If I don't, I'll put it in there
cool.
once I read it, so that when you can go check out your channel.
Yeah. But
If
Monty,
you
I have to say this. I want your thoughts on this, man. What was your opinion of the reveal of Amber? Because they're all in the living room. They're all
Mhm.
talking, and Liv is like, they're like, "Why do you have blood on your hands?" Right? And she's like, "I found Chad, remember?" And she's
Yeah.
got blood on her hands, and she's like, it's not me. I'm not the killer." And Amber goes like, "Yeah, I know you're not." And she's like, pulls the gun out, shot to the head.
Mhm.
I was like, "Whoa!" It just happened so quickly. What did you think about that reveal of Amber with the shooting Liv?
Um, a bit shocking.
Yeah,
Yeah, because normally
yeah,
that's not how Scream does it when it comes to revealing killers. But I guess she thought maybe I guess she really didn't like her to begin with. So
yeah. I don't
that's the
think she
reason.
liked anybody, Monty. Amber hated everybody in this movie. I'm
I know.
telling you.
Yeah. Angela got away. Yeah, I think maybe because she doesn't like that Liv or doesn't like anybody,
Yeah.
But yeah, for her to just pull out the gun and just bang, like damn,
Ooh,
that's just as
right
bad.
there.
This just as bad what Mickey did to whatchamacallit and Scream 2. Just shoots him right in the whatchamacallit.
Oh, right in the chest.
Mhm.
Derek. Yeah, that was cold, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Weekend. I hope we do too. I'm really hoping that Paramount will release a Blu-ray with an extra disc of that hour and a half director. I'm 2 hour and a half. Sorry, 2.5 hour director's cut, the original cut of the film. I
Yes,
hope so. What do you think, Monty? Do you think they'll do that or not?
I don't know. I don't know why.
We're here, horror man. We see you, buddy. We're chatting. We'll
Yeah, we're
chat with you.
chatting. Yeah,
Yeah,
everyone's chatting. Just go ahead and say what you got to say, man. No worries.
yeah, absolutely. What do you think,
Um,
Monty? Do you think we'll get that director's cut or no?
I don't know. It's kind of hard. I don't know because I don't know how what movie studios and directors have when it comes to their directors cuts. Because I know it has to be agreed upon between the movie studio and directors whether the directors wants their original vision. I know a lot of people give that a lot because what happened with the Snyder cut as opposed
Ah,
to that in the Justice League
yeah,
and that mess that happened. It depends. I don't know. It depends whether or not the studio, because obviously the studio would have to think if they can make money if they give a director's cut. I mean, because
right.
the reason why they finally Warner Brothers did finally let Zack Snyder release his cut, his
Hmm.
version of Justice League. It depends upon the movie studios. Would we like to see a director's cut of Scream? Yes, because I think if we were to get a director, it's just like with I'll even say this with Batman v Superman with the Ultimate Edition. That movie makes more sense because when you take a look at that as opposed to what we saw in the theaters, that
Hmm.
leaves a lot of stuff out. Yes, it does make the movie longer. And I believe Warner Brothers was upset because they didn't want people sitting in the seats that long for a movie.
Yep.
Was about almost 2.5 hours long, and if you get the edition, you get like almost a 3.5, almost a 4 hour movie. But
Wow.
just like with the Snyder cut, but it does make more sense. It makes those scenes better and makes understand other characters, especially Lone Lane's character, because to me in the director's cut, she serves no purpose at all in the script.
Absolutely. And I really do hope that if we get that director's cut, we're going to see a lot of the development, a lot of the because there could be a lot more scenes with like because I one of the things I thought about Sydney. I love Sydney,
Hmm.
but I thought that she didn't get enough screen time. I felt that, I know it's a difficult balance between introducing new characters, new storyline, also caring for the old stories, the old, the past. It's hard to balance that evenly. And it's not a terrible balance, but I just think that Sydney, I wish she would have had another 5-10 minutes. And that's it. Not even just 5 or 10 more minutes of screen time with more lines. And I wonder if she did. I wonder if some of those got cut. Just like,
Hmm.
because 30 minutes, Monty, that's a lot.
No, yeah.
That's a lot to cut. And
Hmm.
so I wonder if there are more scenes with Sydney that in this film, and maybe there's more events that we get to see, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I just hope we get it. I know it's probably
Yeah.
a long shot,
Yeah,
but
because most of the time we don't we get deleted scenes. It's just like
yes,
with Freddy, with like with the DVD Blu-ray I have with Freddy versus Jason, we just have deleted scenes, not
yeah,
director's cut like Rennie Wu's director's cut of Freddy versus Jason. We just get deleted scenes. We'll
right,
get an actual movie that shows the entire movie where we get to see everything what the director wanted to put together. Um,
yeah, yeah. Well, let me ask you something. I haven't seen it yet, but I know that there's a director's cut, or they're calling it extended cut of Halloween Kills.
yeah,
Have you
I
seen the extended
no,
cut?
I have not seen the extended cut of Halloween Kills.
Okay, me either.
I know Lee of Drum Dums because he's a huge Halloween fan. I know he's seen
Yes.
it. I think he did a review on his channels. Um, yeah,
Okay.
if you can see his work as well.
Yeah, we'll take it, right? Weekend, we'll take it.
No, I
Hey,
have not seen it. Maybe when I get a chance, I'll watch it and see if
yeah,
that makes some improvement over what we saw of Halloween. Because the problem with Halloween Kills for me is just like they just look like Danny and David just simply made a filler movie, and that was it because they knew they were making a trilogy. But if you're going to do that, you want to make sure that the second story is just as good, if not as better than the first one, but enough that will make the audience come back to see the final conclusion of the storyline. But the problem with Halloween Kills is that okay, we got Michael, we'll just have him make a bunch of brutal ass kills, and stab, kill, and that's it. And that's what they simply did. It's like I don't know what type of plan that they have. Maybe when Halloween Kills when Halloween Ends comes out later on at the end of the year, perhaps that will make up for what they did in Halloween Kills.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, it's hard because when you're
mm,
dealing with a trilogy, it's so hard to judge that middle piece until you have it all together because
mhm,
they make this story to be connected, and so it's hard because we're basically in the middle of the book. Halloween Kills is right in the middle of this book, and we've seen the beginning of the book. We've read it. I'm using an analogy, of course, but we've read the middle portion, but until we see that final at chapter, how we're gonna look back on it. I mean, there's some things I don't like in Halloween Kills, and I don't want to turn this into a Halloween Kills stream, but we could do that sometime. I'd be happy to revisit it with you,
oh
but
yeah.
for sure. But there's some things I didn't like, but I have to say I liked it. I know that Fate, our buddy Fate decided over in the collective he can't stand the movie. I like it. I like it. And it's funny because Killjoy Jake and Nightwatch Zone and we loved it. We all really liked it,
Oh
and
yeah.
and there's things in it I don't like. There's things that I wish I could change. I mean, there are,
Mhm,
but
yeah.
I went into that movie just completely blind. I did see the trailer, of course. There was way too much in the trailer.
Mhm.
But anyway, long story short, I personally enjoyed it. But I do want to see how it connects to Halloween Ends. Fate does not. Yeah, yeah. Fate. If you bring up, if you bring this movie up with Fate decided, man,
Yeah, because
you get ready.
I think I watched that video that y'all guys did about Halloween Kills, and he was cracking me up about what he didn't like.
Oh gosh, yes. We were essentially ganging up on him that day. It was like he was the punching bag for that segment, but that's all right, man. It
Oh
was all in
man,
fun, all in
no,
fun.
it's all fun. Obviously, let's see. There's a couple other things I want to talk to you about.
Yeah.
You did see the Scream TV shows, correct?
I did. Saw all three of them, all three
All
seasons.
three of them. Okay. How would you compare those to the movie Scream as far as both season one, two, and of course season three?
Well, I've seen. It's funny you mentioned that because I've seen some people who weren't as favorable about the movie. They had this actually up sometimes as a criticism of Scream Five. A lot
Mm,
of them think that it is like it's more like a television show, that it was paced in such a way where it's more like watching MTV on I mean Scream on MTV.
mm,
I don't agree with that. I don't. I do agree that the pace is super quick. I've always said you'll never get bored when you watch
mm.
this movie. You have no
No, you
time
won't.
to.
You won't get bored. No.
No, it's non-stop, 1,000 miles an hour. It just goes, and I love that. Now, sure. Again, I go back to what I said earlier. It was 2.5 hours for a reason, because they had a lot more they wanted to say. But when you cut the film shorter, it does increase the pace. It gets faster and faster. I didn't have a problem with the pace. But my point of it is, I've heard that as a criticism. Now, regarding the TV shows, how they compare, I mean, I don't know. I like the season one and two. Okay,
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of those two seasons. Season three gets a lot of hate. I don't think it was terrible, as a
Mm,
lot of people say it is in their opinions. I didn't think it was very good. I will say that, but I
mm,
thought it was the ending. I won't say any spoilers for that, but the ending of three, and not maybe not the one. There's two. There's two reveals in that movie. You know what I'm
oh
talking
yeah.
about. There's two.
Yeah. Hmm.
The one reveal, not that big of a shock. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
And
the second one,
just to piggyback on that one,
yeah, yeah.
because I guessed that 20 minutes after the first episode.
There you go. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, okay. I see what's going on here.
And that's the one thing I didn't like. I like three. Three. I don't know why three gets a lot of hate. I mean,
Yeah,
come on, you got the Ghostface mask back.
you
You got
do.
Roger L. Jackson back. I
Yep,
thought he was terrific because he
yep,
brought back that Scream element of Scream that was missing in the
yes.
first two seasons of Scream. I like some of the characters. I like I think it was Kiki. I can't remember her name.
Oh yeah, Kiki. I know you're talking about. I don't remember her name either. I'm
Yeah, I
terrible at
remember her
remembering those
name. Yeah,
names.
I thought she was good. I actually did like the reveal of the killer in the three
Yes,
one. I thought she had a her
yes.
motivations were good
I thought it was
as
great.
far
That's Becky. That's Beth.
as yeah, Beth.
Beth.
Yeah, yeah,
Man, I love that review. That was I was gonna say that was one of the highlights for me
yeah. I was one
because
of that.
I didn't expect it. I honestly
Neither did I.
say I did
No,
not.
because to me it seemed too obvious. I said, no, it
Yes.
can't be her. It's too obvious. She's goth.
Right.
That's obvious. They're better writers than that.
Yes.
Uh,
Exactly. And then, boom, there you go. And yeah, there are rumors about that. In fact, I've got I saw a picture today. I guess it was originally eliminated, but or not eliminated, but deleted. But yeah, it's a picture of I think three of the cast members: Noah and I'd have to go back and look. Emma, I'm trying to remember all their names. Noah, Emma, and then oh my gosh, I can't remember her name. Anyway, uh, there's a picture of them, and they quickly took it down in Los Angeles together. So it looks like they are actually negotiating to try to bring the Scream series back to finish, or at least carry on or finish the original story of Brandon James, because
mm.
it lived on a cliffhanger. Remember
Yeah,
that
I know.
season two
Yeah,
ending was like,
yeah,
what?
because I think the character
Kyrian.
Kieran, yeah, he's in jail, and I think
Yes.
someone kills him.
He gets killed in jail.
He gets
Ghostface
killed.
in jail kills him.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, kills him. Yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that's the rumor right now. Weekend and as well. Yeah, you're right. They're trying to get everyone back to reprise the role. I honestly say though, I didn't have a problem with Brandon James' story. It was different, but I do wish they just would have just made it Scream, make it Ghostface.
no,
Just
I didn't
yeah,
have a problem with it because they wanted it to be different as opposed to the
right.
movie.
Yep.
I had no problem with the characters. I liked. I think it was I can't remember her name.
Emma's the
That,
lead. Oh, you're talking about the short black-haired?
yeah, yeah, her.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Yeah, I can't rember her name, but she's my favorite. I thought she did a
Yeah,
fantastic job
she's
as a
great.
character. She's
So is
great.
Noah. Noah's
Yeah.
great.
No, yeah, no, yeah, him and Noah was she was good too.
Yes.
Yeah. Just one last thing to wrap this up. Obviously, what is your expectations for Scream 6? What would you like to see other than Stu?
Always see Stu, right? Weekend, thank you. It's Audrey. That's it.
Audrey, yeah, thanks, thanks.
That's her name. I could not remember her name to save my life tonight.
Yeah, huh?
So what are our expectations for six, right? What do I hope to see in six? Stu Mucker. I will say that up front. I have to get that out first.
Hmm.
I still hope we see Stu. I'm never going to give up on that. But outside of that, I do. There's something that's been brewing in my mind for about a week now, and I have mentioned it a couple of times last week on a video or a live stream. But here's what I'm thinking. I want to see, Monty, what you think about this idea. Now that Tara lived and we have both sisters coming back, we see Sam at the end of the movie go absolutely savage mode on Richie.
Hmm.
And we talked about it earlier. She wipes off the blade, all of those things. And then when she goes outside, when the thing's all over, that's right, man. When she goes outside for the ending of the movie, she still sees Billy's reflection
Hmm.
either in the car window or a puddle of water. I can't remember. It was one of the two, which tells me that she still has him in her. Like, in other words, she's not all of a sudden healed and over it and mentally all back.
Hmm.
She just committed murder, and it looked to me like she really enjoyed it. And now she's had a taste of what the Billy Loomis blood in her is. And I'm like, now, if they would have made Billy Loomis disappear in the wall, like whenever she was looking up at the wall,
Hmm.
if he would have like just disappeared, she overcame him, then I would say, okay, she's mentally restored. But no, what happens? Yeah, Purple kisses. You're getting ahead of me. You get slow down. But what happens is they go outside, right? And instead of that, she sees him again.
Hmm.
And I said, okay, this isn't over yet. So, Monty, here's my thought. What if James Vanderbilt and Guy Busick, the writers, what if they were laying a foundation for Sam to ultimately become the killer? What if she ultimately, and Tara survived, which is important because
Hmm.
now Tara, see, could ultimately be the final girl that we thought Sam was going to be if this
Hmm.
is a trilogy. And what if Sam liked killing Richie? And yeah, Reagan, that's what I'm talking about right there.
Hmm.
That she gives in. Hey, Super Joe, absolutely ride that train. And what if she gives in, Monty, to that dark side in six, and she ends up turning herself over?
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
that's
Just
yeah, that's an interesting concept that they can go on to the Scream Six is whether or not she's going to give in to of
hmm
the dark side of her father's character because we do see Billy is still there. It's not resolved, which I
yes.
thought was a nice way to continue that because one of the things I always like when it comes to people that are flawed,
hmm
you can't just solve them just by killing them. That's
No.
not really a good idea. The fact that she did what she did and now she has a taste of it, that should still play out the next screen where she's still now trying to fight the urges of killing. Almost like similar to what Dexter does in his film where he can't get rid of the dark passenger.
Yep.
Hmm.
Exactly. That's something I think would be interesting to explore. I do. I
Hmm.
think it would be interesting to explore. And other than that, I want to just continue to see Mindy's character develop, get more time with her, get to know her and Chad more, I hope, in this movie. And I do hope that Sydney returns in some capacity. And the real thing I want to see in Scream 6 is I want to see Kirby come back. We know she's alive.
Yep.
They confirmed it in the movie.
Hmm.
Kirby Reed survived. So I love that they honored Wes Craven's canon because Wes always said that Kirby survived. He even had her do like a really subtle movement before the camera left her in Scream 4. And Wes said, I mean, you can hear it on the director's commentary of 4
Hmm.
that Kirby, that they're going to bring back Kirby. They wanted to bring her back. So I think that the fact that Radio Silence honored that, and they're like, okay, you know what? Wes said she was alive. We're going to honor that, bring her back. So, Monty, what I envision is this: I envision Sam and Tara and the four survivors, and something's going to happen, of course, and we're going to see Kirby introduced back into the franchise, and she's going to serve into this almost this mentor role for her in the movie, kind of like Sydney, but maybe even more so. And because Kirby's closer to her age, than Sydney is. So I'm just thinking that maybe we see her come back, and I hope she has a significant role. That's what I'm hoping for. That we see, because imagine Kirby and Mindy, movie geeks like us. Imagine them together, man. How cool would that be?
All right. All right. So, my good friends, that's going to be it for right now. I want to once again thank Stephen for joining us once again. We're going to have to do this again very soon. As a matter of fact, we will be doing this on Stephen's channel, Craven, this Friday at 10 p.m. My time,
Yes.
9 p.m. this time. So, we're going to be doing something special on your channel as well.
We sure are. That's right, man. So everyone, come over to the channel on Friday night, and I'll be setting it up, Monty, this week, so I know that you'll be able to share it and people can actually see it on your channel. But yeah, Friday night, 9 p.m. Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. It's going to be a late night scream party with Monty G and myself, and there may even be somebody else that might just pop up. You just never know what's going to happen, right? You just never know.
That is true. So I want to thank everybody in the chat for joining us. Thank you very much.
Yes.
For being here, and always remember that horror rules. All right, well, stay safe. Good night, and I'll see you in my next one.
Bye, guys.
All right.